John here with Elton's Retirement Journey and Travel. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the cases that I viewed down at the Magistrate Court 132 Pryor Avenue here in Fulton County, Atlanta, Georgia. So now that I'm retired, I have plenty of time to go down to the courts, kind of sit around and listen to some of the cases. So on January 8th, I went down to the magistrate court up to the 6th floor. They reconvened at 1 o'clock. They had call of the calendar. And this is called a dispossessionary type of hearing where you have foreclosures and evictions. You're going in and looking to have people evicted or foreclose on their property. So let's just hop right into it. So the first case was a lender versus the owner. So the gentleman had an LLC and he had an auto draft set up with the mortgage company. And what happened in that case is the auto draft did not go through. And apparently he didn't get any kind of notifications of the failure of the auto draft. They just stopped doing it. And I guess he wasn't checking because he fell 3 months behind and they issued a foreclosure on his property and he had a tenant in it. He went ahead and emailed, made some calls, got the runaround. And so now they're looking to take his property and he's got somebody in it. He's going to have to make that person in there refund their money or something. It's a very bad situation, but this kind of court proceeding is why I went down there. And it is clearly articulated in a movie called 99 Homes, where within the first 5 minutes, the young guy is in front of a judge and the representative of the bank, the attorney, he's saying, hey, look, he's $80,000 underwater. He's missed 3 payments. We can have someone in this unit within 30 days. And he says, did you miss 3 payments? And he says, yeah, I called the bank and they told me, not to pay, that they can do a modifications. And he said, you know what? I don't see any reason why to hold up the sale of this, the repossession of this property. He says, you have, 30 days to appeal. He says, what? Look, I got 40,000 cases like this behind yours. And he ruled on it and he got evicted. The movie's called 99 Homes. I strongly encourage you to take a look at it. So I don't know what's going to happen with that particular case because it is in foreclosure right now. And unless he can make some special arrangements, bring that account forward, he's in trouble. And I have auto drafts set up for my home that I'm in right now. And I always go check to see if the account has been debited, as well as to the mortgage account to make sure it has been credited. I do that all the time. And the reason I have it set up for just in case this does not happen, something happens to my regular checking account, well, it's not coming from there. It's coming from someplace else. There's plenty of cash in it. I'm in a coma, the property will still be paid for. So that was on that case. The next case was a LLC claiming no relationship to the property and with the eviction was served. So the property apparently has changed hands and the lending institution does not know who the current owner is. And the person apparently took possession of the property in some kind of short sale or transaction, and the bank does not know who the true owner is. And so an eviction notice got stamped on this particular property. This is simple, properties changing hands and nobody knowing, the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing, and people not getting payments and not knowing who the owner is and all this kind of nonsense. That was a case right there. I don't know where that one's going to go, but it was had something to do with click claim deeds being involved. The next case was for a defendant who was in a townhouse, September to December 2025. The rent had not been paid. He owes $5,392.47, and including $322 in late fees and attorney fees. The defendant was not present, and that was ruled in favor of the plaintiff, which appeared to be someone representing the property. So that person will now move on to evictions. Next case had to do with a lady who is behind in her rent, and she has a bankruptcy, and that bankruptcy was recently filed, and it has not appeared as of yet. So she got a stay. Once that bankruptcy appears, they'll reconvene and do something about that. But everything stops once you file bankruptcy like that in most cases. So she got a stay. The next case was rent paid, but eviction in error. November 26th, the young lady had got eviction notice filed, and it was totally in error. And the attorney said, hey, yeah, we made a mistake. We want that sealed. And that means that nobody's going to ever know about it. And the person is in no trouble of being evicted. And the last case, well, one of the last cases, well, there was a gentleman that came in. He was behind on his rent. And in Georgia, they do what's called a tack and mail. If they go to serve you, you're not there, they're going to tack it. And they're supposed to postmark the notice to you the exact same day. And what this guy was saying, and he used some of the statutes in Georgia law to say it was not properly served. I got the tack and mail. So with the defendant receiving the tack and mail, he's saying that the mailing of the notice was not properly post stamped. So he's trying to get it dismissed. Now he's behind on rent, and he had the judge pulling up the statement, and actually that's what it says. It's supposed to be postmarked the same day as what they tacked. The attorney was saying, hey, look, you responded in 7 days and you're here in court, so that means you got it. But he's saying, no, it was the process. It's supposed to be mailed out and post stamped the same day. That did not happen. So I object to the whole thing. He's trying to get it dismissed. The judge, and they spent some time looking over the statute and everything. And they said, look, you're in court now. You've been served. You've got 7 days to respond. There will be no mailing out. And then if you don't like my decision, you can appeal. Now, the attorney said, hey, we want him to post the rent now to the court. And he got a break on that. So I don't know what that's going to happen. They come back in 7 days, they get a court date, and then we move on to the eviction process. There should be no more going over the statute. But he came in, he knew what he was talking about, and that was it on that one. Now, the last case had to do with a young lady. She was about 3 months behind. She owed a few $1,000s, and she went to mediation, which everybody has the opportunity. Even the previous gentleman with the tack and mail, they went to mediation, and she agreed to move out by January 30th and to pay the back rent. So we'll see how that goes. And that was basically it. So one of the reasons I wanted to go down there is get familiar with this whole process. And now that I'm retired, seeing what the options are, and that's why I've been going out looking at renting these apartments. And like the lady at the Rosemont, you can't have any evictions, you can't have any bankruptcies, foreclosures. All this stuff is public record, so it's not good. But I wanted to get a feel and produce some kind of content so that people have an understanding how this process goes. And that's why I've been putting the NACA up, because there's a home save program that you can get involved with, and things like that. Now, I'm going to post another link to this video that will take you to another YouTube that runs for 42 minutes. It talks about the entire process that I witnessed down there for anyone who wants to get up to speed and know what's going on. It's a horrible getting those eviction notices. Once that happens, they put all your stuff out. You must leave. The same thing with a foreclosure. And then, you know, once you're behind, all you can do is bring it forward and plead with the landlord that they will dismiss this stuff and yet you can stay in there because if once you get put out, it's really, really hard to come up. And then you get the civil cases where you got to owe the money and they get a judgment. They know where you work at, then you get the garnishment. And as a landlord, it's hard to recover the money once you go through this. And like I said, I was down there really trying to find out about the squatters and how they handle that. I'll go back down there for my own knowledge, depending on how this video is received, will depend on whether or not I'm going to post it again. However, going forward, there are some condos that are up for sale. I went ahead and registered with Redfin and with my zip code. In their units, there's one right across the street, right over here, that is at 100. I think it's $160,000, a two-bedroom, one bath, and it actually would be a good place for a handicapped person. Once you get up that hill, you can get through the path and in there, as well as someone who moved down. But I'm going to make that my other content. I'm going to go ahead and leave some stuff, some links down here, and maybe we'll take a look at how we can get some help for you. So let me go ahead and try and wrap this up. My name is John. I think I've got a screenshot of the agencies that will help if you're behind on your rent. So let me go ahead and bring that up, okay? And thanks. Okay, folks, I'm going to leave this up for about no, maybe about 90 seconds um, so that you can take a look at this. There's a Georgia Rental Assistant.ga. There's numbers in here. There's the city of Atlanta, Clayton County, Cobb, the CAB, Fulton County, and there's Gwinnett County down at the bottom. Up here, this Maggie lady, I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video once I get it published. And that her YouTube video covers the process that I witnessed down there. In case you want to get up to speed on the eviction process, just for your own knowledge, to get ahead of the game or whatever. The best thing to do is have some cash reserves. We don't know what's going on this year. It's still kind of early. Some of us are fortunate. I don't think I'll ever have to deal with this as a homeowner because I retired with 400K and I've got money put away and for 3 years. And once I collect Social Security, who's going to give a crap? Because I have more than enough money to cover all my rent. But that's my case. So I'm going to be quiet now. Let you guys view this over, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this published probably on Sunday and get ready to go watch the football game. But thanks for sticking through with me. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. Um, that lets me know that there's some interest in these videos that I'm doing and share with somebody too as well. Okay. Give it about another 30 seconds. I think her video was done a couple years ago, so you guys have to check to see if they're still funding at these different institutions. I think that's about it. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to catch the ball game and I'll finish this up and get this published for you guys. Thanks for watching. My name is John and you're with Elton's Retirement Journey.